Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and this is our weekly TV news. We made it 2 weeks in a row in 2019. We're going strong.
Yeah. What's the problem?
Well, we're 2 days later than normal, I suppose. But that's neither here nor there.
No, no, I don't know that. We've changed.
Well, I mean, it's not that uncommon for it to be a day later. I mean, it's kind of, it goes up Saturday or Sunday, but this one's definitely going up on Monday. So it's definitely at least a day late.
It's probably your fault.
It most definitely isn't.
It might be. They don't know.
Oh, I know whose fault it is.
I don't know.
Now, I'm not complaining too much because I got to play a lot more Resident Evil 2 2 nights in a row, but it was delays.
He literally just before we started recording goes, right, let's get through this so I can go play more Resident Evil.
Yeah, what's wrong with that? I'm still putting this first.
Yeah, but it's gonna be a half-hearted show because you want to get
It's
through
not
it.
half-hearted.
I'm gonna drag this out.
This is full-hearted.
Yeah.
You ginger menace. Anyway, we talk about TV news, talk about shows that are in development, pilot orders, premiere dates, renewals, cancellations, all that kind of thing. And maybe things that are on the bubble. One might call them almost cancelled. So that's what we're going to do on this week's show.
Wrong time of year for that joke. Come on.
I know, but hey, it's the second episode of the year. Some people this might be their first episode. Every episode may be their first episode. That's all I can think. Anyway, we'll get straight into it basically. But at the end of the episode, I mean, traditionally we pick our favourite episode of TV the week at the end because obviously we review a bunch of TV. But there's not a lot of weekly shows right now. There hasn't been for a while.
Things are weird.
Things seem to be generally shifting more towards binge content on Netflix, Amazon, et al. So.
Yes, through no fault of our own.
Yeah, so there doesn't tend to be... Because I remember back when we started doing this, there used to be like, oh, there was like 5 shows this week that we can pick from, so it's a fight. And this week it was like, there was a Star Trek, Discovery.
Even like a year ago, where we had like Expanse, Soul, Handmaid.
Yeah, if they happen to fall at the same time. There is definitely shows we cover that are weekly, but honestly, I mean, in terms of scheduling, it's actually better for us if they're spread out. It's just, the only thing it's bad for is having a good, what was the best of the week discussion at the end of this. That's the only thing that suffers for having them spread out.
Unless they all put them on the same night, in which case they're bastards.
Yeah, well, they're just bastards for multiple reasons, yeah. So, we'll start with the news. Had the renewal, first of all, for The Magicians. It's been renewed for Season 5, but right before the Season 4 premiere, by the way. Season 4 is just about to start.
That's still going, and Expanse got cancelled by them?
Yeah, Sci-Fi have renewed this. Yes. I imagine...
This was cheaper.
Yeah, this is much cheaper. That's what I was about to say. This is much cheaper than The Expanse.
Yeah.
That's much... And that's not a comment on the quality. We've not watched it. I know we have fans of the Magicians who
many loyal fans.
Consumer content who still won't shut up about us covering The Magicians at some point. Hey, 4 seasons in, it's not happening. It's just not happening.
Also, I did see someone describe it as like a sci-fi child doing their Hogwarts, and I was like, oh, Pete will hate this.
Yeah, it sounds like something I would probably hate, to be honest. So, is what it is. Anyway, so that's The Magicians, been renewed for Season 5, so happy. But speaking of The Expanse, though, we have Expanse news.
Do we now?
Yes. You've not heard this.
Is this the very, very vague news that I think it is?
Well, when Season 4 is coming is vague. That's just coming 2019. But the more interesting part of this is that Seasons 1 through 3 will be globally available on Amazon Prime on February 8th. So they're officially taking the streaming rights for all the previous seasons. I think they actually had to buy the rights, but clearly they wanted to, so they had the whole package for everyone.
Yes, because internationally, Netflix was the distributor for most countries.
For Seasons 1, 2, yes.
Yes.
I don't think Season 3 ever actually made it anywhere.
It didn't, no.
So there you go. So that's what's happening. It makes sense. We knew it was happening at some point. It's just nice to have a confirmation saying, no, you can watch all the show on Amazon starting February 8th. So if you've not seen Season 3 yet, or you've not caught up yet, you have
shame on
ample chance. I expect Season 4 in the summer. That's my prediction. A little bit later than last year's season.
I think it shifts a little bit later than that still. I think the move kind of shifts things back a little bit.
I don't know. They've been shooting for a while. They might even be done shooting.
Yeah, fair enough. I just think for some reason
because I saw some of the cast talking about the shoot days and stuff, months ago.
Fair enough. I like just a good feeling.
But anyway, so next up, FX is going to premiere Fosse Verdon. It's a limited series. It's going to be Tuesday, April 9th. This is a kind of a big star, actually. Michelle Williams and Sam Rockwell are going to star in this. It's based on Sam Wasson's biography, Fosse. The FX series chronicles the romantic and creative partnership between Broadway legends Fosse and his sweet charity star Verdon. It includes his choreography, and it says FX will explore the hidden corners of the show business and the price of pursuing greatness and the suffering inflicted in the name of art. Doesn't sound like our sort of thing, but it's clearly something they're going to be proud of. It's an 8-episode limited series. It seems like the sort of thing they're going to be like, hey, award season. We have this.
Does seem like that, but maybe not for us.
Yeah, probably not for us, but yeah, worth noting.
Yeah.
Next up, Teen Wolf, cast member Megan Tandy, along with Luke Cage, cast member what?
I was really glad you continued that sentence, because I was like, Teen Wolf can't still be on when you paused after Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf, we talked about this in the comics.
We did, but I didn't know where you were going with it, because you just started with Teen Wolf.
Yeah. We also have Cameras Johnson from Luke Cage and Nicole Kang from You. They've all been cast in Batwoman. Get a variety of roles here. We have Sophie Moore. These are actually better descriptions than I had for the TV multiverse, funnily enough.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, because I got this from a different source. Anyway, so Tandy will play Sophie Moore. After graduating from military academy, Sophie rose through the ranks to become high-level private security agent and one of Gotham's staunchest protectors. I don't know why I said it like that. Despite her bite and regimented outlook, Sophie has a soft side, illuminated by Kate Kane's return. So there you go. And then Johnson will play Luke Fox, a Dark Knight loyalist and son of Wayne's R&D director Lucius Fox. Luke works to keep Wayne Tower secure in his boss's absence. I mean, in Elseworlds, it was awful looking. I don't know if I would say it was unsecure.
I would. The three heroes just walked in.
Yeah, but they were picked up by... Kate set a cab for them.
Still, front door's open.
Yeah, but can they get past the first floor? Is that like the public area? Then like the seals are all in like floor 2. You can't get any higher than that. All the private stuff's up there.
Sure. What was notable to me on the first description, it says Kate Kane's return, like she's been gone.
Yes. I wonder if they'll do a thing like they did with Flash, where the start of this will actually be set before Elseworlds.
Maybe.
I can see that actually. Like she's going to choose to become Batwoman, and then there'll be like a period where it.
Kind of hope not. I was looking forward to kind of jumping over that bit and just she's Batwoman. Let's just get on with it. Could
be flashbacks. Could be a flashback episode, or it could be some flashbacks early on to sort of explain how she became Batwoman, which would be when she returned to the city.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's lots of potential reasons why that could be a thing.
Yes, there is. You're all right.
Yes, I'm just checking. And then Kang is Mary Hamilton, excitable, talkative, and an influencer in the making. Mary is Kate Kane's stepsister and polar opposite. But what Mary lacks in filter, she makes up for in her compassion for Gotham's undeserved communities, proving she has more in common with Kate than she thinks. That one's actually the same as the other description, but the other two were a bit more meaty.
These are all really overly sweet character descriptions.
Yeah, they're selling the characters. And then actually just some tag on. This actually, I don't know if this was before we did TV Multiverse or if it happened just after, but we didn't talk about it. We'll talk about it in the next one. But Titan Season 2, Deathstroke is going to be one of the main villains, and he's bringing Rose with him.
I would say cool, but I mean, Trigon was supposed to be the main villain of Season 1.
Yeah, I'm curious as to what Trigon's do. Is Trigon just sort of in the background and sort of festering for the season? Or whatever?
Just dealt with in the first episode.
Oh, I hope not. I will call shenanigans on that if they do that. They spent all season building up to Trigon and they just deal with them in one episode of Season 2. No. I'm not saying they're not going to. I'm saying no. They shouldn't.
They shouldn't, but that's kind of where my expectations are.
Okay. So we're at some comedy pilot orders. We have a lot of pilot orders. This is going to be the bulk of the show. So Fox is giving a first live-action comedy green light to Richard Lovely. That's the name of the show. So this is from Grace and Frank, executive producer Billy Faniga. So Richard Lovely has a put-pilot commitment. The project, which has an about-a-boy vibe to it, is about Richard Lovely, a disgruntled author of a best-selling children's book series called Mr. Mouse. He doesn't hate children, but rather just everything about them. After a public, after a publicity,
Like this guy.
after a publicity fiasco involving an unexpectedly savvy 9-year-old kid, this scene should be good. Even if the rest of the show sucks, the idea of a 9-year-old outwitting them into saying something stupid does sound kind of entertaining to me. Mr. Mouse appears in Richo's real life as he is forced into an unlikely father-son relationship that will change his life forever. So, is that implying he actually like sees like a Mr. Mouse like?
I think so.
Embodiment in real life. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, a little bit different, I suppose.
Yeah. Also, Fox, multi-camera comedy this one. It's a blue-collar family comedy. It's called Geniuses. This comes from LA to Vegas creator, executive producer Lon Zemet, or Zeme perhaps, I may pronounce. Geniuses harkens back to one of Fox's signature comedy series, Malcolm in the Middle. The multi-camera family comedy is about a blue-collar couple in South Jersey trying to get by and raise their 4 kids, 3 of whom just happen to be certified geniuses. Sucks to be the 4th.
I hate this show already.
Why?
Smart kids are just intolerable on TV.
You're just imagining 3 Wesley Crushers, that's all you're imagining.
No, but every time there's a smart kid on TV, they're intolerable.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
You should.
So, yeah, that is Geniuses. Moving on to NBC, they've handed a pilot order to Uninsured, a multi-camera comedy from the Goldbergs' writer-executive producer Dan Levy. Uninsured centers on young parents, Dave and Rebecca, who end up having to take care of Dave's parents, who have mishandled their finances and need help to pay down a sizable debt.
So it's a family comedy.
Yeah, but the parents are the uninsured ones, as it were. I thought it was going to be just a comedy about people who have medical conditions, but they can't afford insurance, so it's just going to be this depressing, like...
That's really dark.
Dark comedy. I thought, yeah.
I'd be down for that.
I thought it was going to be satire, you know? Medical industry, blah, blah,
okay.
blah. NBC has ordered a pilot for a single-camera comedy with Bradley Whitford attached to star and executive produce. Now, I do like Bradley Whitford. This is the thing it's got going for it. We actually talked about this now. This used to be titled Altogether Now, which was actually a perfect title. I don't know why they've decided it's not that. Now it's Untitled.
Okay.
So they're thinking of a new title for it. But Altogether Now was perfect. This is the rural church choir gets a new director. I never thought it needed when an Ivy League music professor, played by Whitford, stumbles through the door.
I recall this one, yeah.
This sounds interesting because of him. I can see this working because of him being a new savvy choir leader, you know?
Yeah.
So
not sure why they've changed the name though. I really don't get that.
Yeah, Altogether Now was perfect. So I maybe they'll have something better. If this ends up in something really generic like choir, I'm going to have problems. They better have something wittier than Altogether Now, which was a perfect title.
Yeah, it was.
So speaking of NBC again, they are taking another pass at a multi-camera comedy called Friends-in-Law. They actually made a pilot of this last year and passed on it, but they like the premise enough they're going to try it again. In the series, Brian and Jake are polar opposites who must quickly figure out how to coexist when their respective best friends decide to get married.
I have no recollection of this last year, do you?
I vaguely do. All
right, fair enough.
But do you know what it sounds like? It's very similar to one that was this year as well. I don't know what network this was, but there was one that was like Exes-in-Law, where 2 exes decide to get married.
Yeah, I remember that.
There's one of them that this year that sounds very similar. But yeah, so there you go. So on to the dramas, and we're starting off with something that I actually made we made some very topical references to this at the start of the show.
Did we?
Resident Evil.
Oh yeah, that one.
Is in development for television. Netflix are developing this with German production company Constantin Film, who own the movie rights and presumably the TV rights, naturally, side by side. So yeah, it's going to be loosely based on the Capcom video game series. Search is underway for a showrunner to shepherd the adaptation. No one is commenting, but the scuttlebutt is that the plan is for the series to expand the Resident Evil universe and deepen the exiting mythology. That is clearly meant to be exciting, and they have made a typo. Haha. So
I don't know. I think they're saying, it's pretty shit. It's on the way out.
I'm pretty sure that's not what they mean.
They're being real subtle about it.
The drama series will explore the dark inner workings of the Umbrella Corporation and the New World Order caused by the outbreak of the T-Virus. While the project is in early stages, the series is expected to incorporate all of Resident Evil's signature elements, including action sequences and, in quotations, Easter eggs. That's a really weird description. I feel like whoever wrote this doesn't really know that much about the games and just kind of...
Yeah, the places that... gaming websites that I'd seen talk about this were saying, there's expectations that it'll feature like puzzles, sort of puzzles itself, but there'll be that sort of element to it.
Yeah, there'll be problem solving, there'll be survival. Which, if you now, admittedly, I'm in a weird place where I hated all the movies. We're getting a movie reboot and we're potentially getting a TV show now. What do I want out of an adaptation of Resident Evil as someone who is a huge fan of the series? Honestly, like, I'm not convinced they can capture what I would like. I had hopes for a good movie way back before the first one came out, and then over 6 movies they just beat me into the ground. It was soul destroying because they're garbage. They're just straight up garbage, and they somehow get worse with each movie. It's I didn't see the last 2, I don't think, but there was 6 of the bastard things. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So I mean, puzzles are a big part of it. Survival's a big part of it. Somehow I don't see them setting the whole thing in a big building or. I
think it's weird that it's following Umbrella Corps, right? Like,
I mean, I don't know if that means it's going to follow within Umbrella Corporation. I think it just means that Umbrella Corporation are going to be the villains, right? They're going to be present.
Okay. The way I read the description meant I got the impression that it was following their...
I don't think they know enough yet to say that. I think this is...
That's just, like I said, from what I got from reading these current descriptions.
To me, this just sounds like Umbrella Corporation are the villains, the T-Virus is spread, so the zombies. I mean, if this was me, what I would do is I would legitimately make it all set in one night, like the season. And it would be either in the mansion and then the journey down to the lab, and it would be 10 episodes of that in a nice pace, right, where you can do all the various elements. Maybe not every puzzle that's in the game because there's probably too much to make it work in a TV show, but the general journey of the story, right? Or base it after 2, but make it the police station. Base it after 3, where it's the whole of Raccoon City, whatever, right? Whatever one you want to do. I don't see them doing that for a TV show. I would love if that's what they told me it was. If they said, no, the season's all set in one night. Right?
It's almost certainly not.
It's almost certainly not. But that's what I would love them to say. It probably isn't, though. Because to me, Resident Evil is about survival. It's about problem solving. It's about all these kind of things. What it's not about is globe-trotting and espionage, which is kind of what the CG movies, at least the first one, was kind of about. And then the live-action movies just kind of turned into this superhero action thing. I don't want these things. No.
I'd want that if it was good.
I mean, I would like the characters from the games if they're done well, because the movies did do some of the characters and they were all god-awful versions. They cast people who were totally wrong for the parts, and they were treated as afterthoughts because Alice is the main character, and these characters from the games, they're just they're basically just glorified dressing for fans of the games to
You care about this too much.
Here's my name. I recognize that person's name. Nothing but blatant fan service.
Pete, they're Easter eggs.
Piss off. It's basically what some of the newer Star Wars movies did, quite frankly. So what do I think makes this work? I don't know if what I like about the games can work. But then again, I've often talked about how the movie Aliens has a lot of the things I love about the games in that movie inherently. So I don't think it's impossible.
Yeah.
I don't think it's impossible. If they have the idea of there was an incident and you've got the team or the main characters, whoever they might be, if it's Stars, if it's Leon and Claire, whoever, if they're discovering what happened here, that they're finding evidence of what happened here, and the zombies and the survival elements, if they have that, then great.
Do you know what I'm going to say?
Mm-hmm.
Based on the scuttlebutt, I think everything you just said is wrong. I don't think this is an adaptation of any of the games in the way that you're thinking. I don't think it has any of the characters.
I didn't say I thought it was that. I said this is what I would want.
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to be any of that. So
yeah, but you can't say I'm wrong when I say this is what I want. That's not how this works.
I would say, okay, I would say just stop wanting that because you're just going to be disappointed.
No, but I'm not expecting this. I'm expecting this to suck. That's literally
how good and not an adaptation, though.
It can be, but I'm not expecting it to be. because the movies are garbage. I'm not expecting this to be good. I will happily be proven wrong, but until proven otherwise, I'm expecting this to be shit.
Yeah, and I'm the pessimist.
You typically are. You're literally only being optimistic here because it's the opposite of what I'm being.
I'm not even being optimistic. I actually don't really give a shit about Resident Evil either way. I don't know enough to say that. Oh, this won't be very good because I mean it's Netflix, right?
I don't think it will be. I feel like a TV show. Like I just, it's rough. I don't know. Like to capture what the games do well. I don't think a TV show lends itself to that as well as, say, a movie does. Not that the movies were good, but like I think a movie has a better chance. You know, a 2-hour movie doing a Resident Evil adaptation makes more sense to me. But
that's my point. Stop thinking adaptation. Think story set in that world.
I don't want stories set in that world.
You've read the bloody books. I know this because you made a point of it last week on some show.
Yeah, but they're based on the games, and the things that aren't in the books are in the style of what the games the games
just
work.
Adaptations? Okay, that's weird. I assumed there were other stories. Like, why would you not want other things set in that world? The thing there that you read out in terms of the description bit specifically mentioned expanding the lore.
Because it's not about the lore, it's about what makes the thing work. It's the mechanics of the thing. It's the mechanics of how the stories work. It's the mechanics of what the setting is. This is where like I don't understand like extended fiction of something like Star Wars. I don't understand why you want all these really different things in there. To me, what Resident Evil is the survival, the location, the mystery of what happened. It's the mechanics of how it functions. It's not about... I don't care about some plot about... Oh, we're going to do an in-depth drama about someone who works at Umbrella Corporation during the fall. Like, that's just not what Resident Evil is, even though it's set in the world. And it could be good. They might prove me wrong and give me something good. But it's nothing I would ever ask for or request, because it's not what Resident Evil is to me.
Oh, you care about this way too much.
It's like the idea of like a bounty hunter Star Wars TV show. That sounds great. And I'm like, but yeah, but that's not what Star Wars is. Star Wars is a rogue. The goody two shoes and the sassy. Well, not sassy. Well, Liz not sassy, but she's kind of sassy. But it's that trio of characters. Fighting against the. You have a
very narrow view of what something is. If considering, like. To me, once a story evolves and takes on its own world, and then the world around it takes on its own life, anything set in that is that franchise. If it feels like it belongs in that world, even if it's a different kind of story.
Well, yeah, but that's why I think too many things are franchised. I disagree that they should do that with everything. I actually kind of hate it, because it's like, no, like, what's another example? Like, because we're getting a new Buffy show, right? And we talk about, okay, what should the new Buffy show be? To me, the key things that make Buffy, right? Not using those characters, right? Is the wit, the themes, and obviously just the natural, like, we're fighting vampires and demons and saving the world.
Sure.
Right? Those are the three key things. If you make a new show set in the Buffy universe, but it follows, like, I don't know, like a lawyer at Wolfram and Hart, and it's like an anti-hero show.
And here's the thing, I think that's fine as long as it's not called just Buffy the Vampire Slayer, right? If it's just hypothetically called Wolfram and Hart,
sure,
right?
Sure. But here's the thing, though. I wouldn't get excited about it. I'm not saying it shouldn't exist. I'm saying if you want to try something else and do it, then fine. But
I mean, no, but I'd be excited on that if there was someone attached to it that I liked, or in this case, in Resident Evil here, it's Netflix. Typically, we're pretty positive on Netflix original series. Therefore, I go in with a positive outlook to most of them.
Sure. I've been burned too much with this. I've been burned far too much with Resident Evil. I mean, I'm not saying you can't do different things in franchises. I'm saying that I'm not inherently excited for that. And I think even just with Resident Evil specifically, the games themselves evolved away from what Resident Evil was, to the point where I would say some of the Resident Evil games are not Resident Evil. Not to me. They're
you
outright...
don't get to make that call.
No, I do get to make that call. Resident Evil 4 is a fantastic game, but it's not a Resident Evil game. And I will stand my ground on that. I will stand on that hill and I will die.
You will die on that hill.
right? Because the new game, Resident Evil 2 Remake, is the first proper Resident Evil game in 16 years, and I will attest to that repeatedly, because the core elements of what make Resident Evil there, but not so much and not everything applies to what makes it a game. Like, what makes the Resident Evil game would apply to a movie or a TV show, but there's storytelling elements and the atmosphere elements that I think have to be there to call it Resident Evil. If it isn't, then it shouldn't be called Resident Evil. You can say it's set in the Resident Evil world, but call it, I don't know, something else.
It might not be called just Resident Evil, though. We don't know yet.
Yeah, we don't know yet, but I'm going on with what they've said, and I'm more going on what you're asking me, what you're posing here, and what you're fighting me on. I'm saying this is why I'm skeptical. This is why I can't get just inherently excited about this, just because it's set in the world, especially when no piece of media related to Resident Evil, other than the games, and I suppose the tie-in novels.
It's very telling to me that if you took Resident Evil out of this equation, right, and you read that description and just put generic names for the companies, and the virus, right, and you said, and that's a show coming from Netflix, you would have a very different opinion.
To a point. I wouldn't be that excited for it, though. I'd be like, yeah, okay, it's a zombie about a corporation, there's a virus that's made zombies. Well, I mean, I'd probably say that sounds a lot like Resident Evil, but
yeah. But you'd inherently be like, I mean, yeah, sure, it's Netflix, we'll give it a try.
Yeah, we'll give it a try, and we'll give this a try. But
yeah, but you wouldn't be anything negative about it.
Yes, but I have an attachment to this.
Yeah.
I'm expecting to screw it up. Right.
But that's my point here. Is if you take out Resident Evil, everything you've just said is irrelevant. You're only getting that concern because you care about the franchise.
Yeah, but it's not like I'm negative about any new version of anything I like. Going back to the Buffy thing, I was quite positive when they announced that. I was like, yeah, hey, this sounds like a fine idea.
Yeah.
I think the problem with Resident Evil as well is that there's no like key creative behind it. I'm saying he's the one I want involved who should shepherd it. There's no one who I can point at and go, they're the one who can make sure this is good.
Yeah.
I mean, Shinji Mikami directed the first game. He also directed the fourth game, funnily enough. But he's not been attached to 2. He's not been attached to 3 or all the other games I like in the series. Like, it's not just him. There's a weird mishmash of a lot of people. And then people who do make games aren't necessarily the best people to ask how something should be adapted.
No,
I don't know who is perfect for it. I don't know if there is someone who I would say they're definitely the one who should do it.
No, I mean, I haven't got no one. I mean, like I said, I've got no attachment to the franchise, so I can't go, oh, this is who you need.
So yeah, I hope it's good. Sure I do. Of course I hope it's good. I hope I care, but the weird thing is that what I like about Resident Evil really doesn't really have much to do with the mythology. Don't get me wrong, when I was playing 2 Remake, I was getting nostalgic seeing the Umbrella logo again, and it was nice, but I like it because of how it works and what the mechanics are inside of it and what the atmosphere is like, not because I don't really care to find out. Because part of what I like about the mythology in Resident Evil is the discovering the breadcrumbs that are left behind in each location that I'm trapped in. I don't know if I don't necessarily. It's kind of the prequel thing, right? Whereas we're going to like explore more of this side. Like, I don't want to know. I like the fuzzy kind of view I've got of it. To me, that enhances the experience.
All I'm going to say is, I'm going to sleep for half an hour on this week's 1080.
Yeah, you think this was bad? Just wait until we record 1080 bit.
Yeah, I'm going to sleep.
Yeah. So that's what it is. Yeah, because likewise, I mean, because this is not against my other opinions. Like I have often said, I don't want to see what Darth Vader's like as a kid. Yeah. I mean, sure, everyone agrees those movies are bad. Well, most people do anyway. But it's the same thing to me. Like I don't want it to be explored more. The backstory. No, the backstory is the backstory for a reason.
Yeah, but maybe it's not backstory. Maybe it's just a different story.
Most prequels suck. Better Call Saul's the only one that's great. Even Resident Evil 0, a game that I still enjoy playing for the most part. The actual story of that is garbage. It's easily the worst one of the original set of games.
Fine. I'm done.
Leech Queen and Mark is bullshit. I'm saying it. Also, put the item boxes back in. Capcom, patch it. Anyway, we can move on.
You sure? You finished?
How long did we spend that? Like a good 10 minutes just on that?
Oh, easily.
Look,
and you say we spent on it. It's mostly you.
Hey, if you just stayed quiet, I would have done quicker. You fought me on points, and I had to do
it. Your honor demanded it.
It did. Oh dear. Anyway, God,
it was like the 16th century. I insulted your wife. That was the way you reacted to that.
How dare you? Next up, the Crown producer Left Bank Pictures is working again with Netflix to adapt a book called Behind Her Eyes. So this is another Netflix original, UK-based company. The book was published in 2017 by HarperCollins. This will be a 6-episode series, so presumably limited. So Behind Her Eyes tells the story of Louise, a single mother and secretary who is stuck in a modern-day rut. On a night out, she meets and kisses David in a bar, a young, successful man who turns out to be her new boss. To complicate matters, she meets Adele, a new friend in town, who turns out to be married to David. That sounds terrible.
That's that way it was going.
She becomes obsessed with the couple and entangled in the web of their marriage. They each reach out to her, but only when she gets to know them both does she start to see the cracks in David's... Is David really the man she thought? There should be a full stop there, there wasn't. That's why I kind of stumbled. Is David really the man she thought she was? And is Adele as vulnerable as she appears? Just what terrible secrets are they both hiding, and how far will they go to keep them? This sounds like a soapy, sleazy thriller.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good too.
Unless it was like, this was De Palma at his prime directing this.
Oh, sure, yeah. Oh, shit, I have to get David Fincher. Sure, I'll watch it, but I mean...
Yeah.
But other than that, no, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Unless it's like an up-and-comer and I hear like insane things about it, like, no, this is the thing. This is the end
if
thing.
we see a trailer, it's like, holy shit, this looks stylish.
Yeah, as it is though, it sounds like my worst nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm good.
Well, my second worst nightmare. My worst nightmare is Paul W.S. Anderson making 6 Resident Evil movies.
So I can't wait till they get him on board for the show and just to see your reaction.
You shut your ginger whore mouth right now.
It'll be like, how when Amazon got the Lord of the Rings and everyone was like, hey, get Peter Jackson. I can see someone in the Netflix office now.
Nah. Netflix have more class than that.
Do they?
I trust them to do better than that.
You didn't 10 minutes ago.
I trust them to hire someone better than Paul W.S. Anderson. That doesn't mean I think it'll be good. There's a pretty big scale in there.
I agree, that is quite the leap.
Yes. Moving on then. Edward Burns and his Marlborough Road Gang Productions is teaming with Radar Pictures to develop Tosca Lee's upcoming thriller novel, The Line Between, as a television series. The first book in a duology. I've actually heard that being used before like that.
Have you not?
Yeah, instead of a trilogy. Like I feel like when there's just 2, it's just like, yeah. There's 2 of them.
I've heard it.
Fair enough. So, Line Between. What do you think this is before I just read the description? Just based on the line between.
Cocaine.
Because I was expecting another, like, romance-y, thrillery thing like the last one.
Sure.
Yeah, I was expecting something kind of mundane like that. In The Line Between, an ancient disease re-emerges from the melting permafrost that causes madness to its victims as the mysterious medical cases spiral towards pandemic and an opportunistic cyber attack plunges the nation into chaos. 22-year-old doomsday cult escapee Winter Roth, who spent her life preparing for the apocalypse, utilizes her special survival skills to lead those with her to safety in a harrowing new reality.
I liked the first 2 sentences of that, and then you got to 22-year-old survival specialist.
It depends where it ends up. I can totally see this being like an NBC thing that's probably really bland.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool. Next up, Kate Winslet will star and executive produce in a limited series called Mayor of Easttown for HBO. No number of episodes given, but it does say that Brad Inglesby, who created the show, will write all the episodes. Is obviously serve as showrunner.
Cool.
Winslet will play a small-town Pennsylvania detective whose life crumbles around her as she investigates a local murder. That couldn't be any less vague. I mean, it's not vague, but what I mean is it's such a basic TV premise that there's nothing to go on.
I'll be honest, my sound cut out, and by the time I got it back on, all I got was investigates a local murder, and I don't think I missed anything.
No, you didn't. You didn't.
I missed like most of that description. I'm like, yeah, okay, I got it.
It's Pennsylvania, and she's in a small town. That's
Cool.
it. That's it. So, yeah, so it could be good. I mean, there's no, I mean, HBO makes good TV usually, so I mean, there's no reason why that should be, you know.
Oh, just a boring description. You're not telling me what sets it apart.
I mean, why not just call this True Detective Season 4? I mean, like, you could do.
You probably could.
Next up, USA Network has given a series order to an anthology drama called Briarpatch, starring Rosario Dawson, although presumably just in Season 1.
Yeah.
Makes sense. The first season is based on the Ross Thomas book of the same name. It follows Algara Dill, played by Dawson, a dogged investigator returning to her border town Texas home after her sister is murdered. What begins as a search for her killer turns into an all-consuming fight to bring her corrupt hometown to its knees. That just sounds like an expanded version of the last one, despite the fact it's in a different state.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, good actress. No reason to think.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's one of these where there's nothing there that makes me go, "Oh, I need to see it." But I mean, sure, it could be good.
Yeah, USA has a less good track record, of course, than HBO does. So that's the difference, I guess, between the two of them.
There is, but then they do have gems.
They have one gem.
They have one gem, but it is a hell of a gem.
It's a hell of a gem. And after it finishes this year, USA Network can be ignored, probably.
Yes, it will decline into irrelevance once again.
People like The Sinner, though, so some people do like some of the shows. Hey, The Sinner episode 1 review is like one of our most watched videos. It's like number 2 or 3.
It is. It baffles me.
Yeah, which hurts because we're kind of middling on it. So it means all these people find it because it's really popular because it's been spread around more. And
we're just like,
it's okay. Like,
yeah.
Why couldn't it be something we were passionate about?
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so CW ordered 4 pilots.
Of course they did.
4 pilots from the CW. First up, Katie Keene, which is a spin-off of Riverdale.
Who's this again?
Katie Keene. It follows the lives and loves of 4 iconic Archie Comics characters, including fashion legend to be Katie Keene, as they chase their 20-something dreams in New York City. This musical dramedy chronicles musical drama. Yeah, getting
well, that's
lavish.
Because they're replacing Thingamabob, right? Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
I suppose, yeah.
That's finishing or finished.
And it chronicles the origins and struggles of 4 aspiring artists trying to make it in Broadway, on the runway, and in the recording studio. So, slightly aged up Riverdale in New York.
Sure, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good too. I did laugh at this though. There's 4 iconic Archie characters. I'm like, I have never heard of Katie Keene in my life.
Not me either.
Never heard of her, but that's fair. That's fair. Go on. Speaking of spin-offs, though, they also ordered... Remember we were talking about this Jane the Virgin spin-off, and it was going to be like the novels that character had written, and she's going to narrate them?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it was going to be an anthology, and each season is going to be a different book that she's written.
Yeah.
Well, the title, because it was untitled at the time.
Oh, okay.
The title is called Jane the Novella.
That's awful.
I know.
That is bloody atrocious.
Why not just Jane the writer? That actually makes sense. Or it makes more sense.
It does.
Jane the author. That sounds better. Jane the author. Sounds better.
Sure, but either of them are better than Jane the novella. Why would you go with novella? Like, it's so specific. This, novella, this short story format.
What? Oh, I get it. Her last name.
Which is?
Villanueva. It's a pun based on her name.
Right.
That's a little bit better.
I mean, at least I can understand why they would choose it now. It's still just an awful choice.
Yeah. It makes more sense, though. I at least see the reason now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I won't bother reading. That's basically what I just said. It's, so she's narrating different stories each season. And then next up, funny enough, because we're just getting a movie about this, but we've got an Untitled Nancy Drew series that's been ordered to pilot, written by Noga Landau, who worked on The Magicians. funnily enough, we mentioned that earlier too. Set in the summer after high school graduation, 18-year-old Nancy Drew thought she'd be leaving her hometown for college, but when a family tragedy holds her back another year, she finds herself embroiled in a ghostly murder investigation, and along the way uncovers secrets that run deeper than she ever imagined. So it's 18-year-old Nancy Drew because they want her to be hot. That's what I'm reading there.
Yeah, and it's not Molly Ringwald.
Yeah, it's not young Molly Ringwald. No.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's the funny thing is I don't necessarily mind them doing an aged up one, but I have to be cynical and say no, it's because they want it to be hot and have sex scenes. I mean, that's, you know, or not even, well, not sex scenes necessarily, but sex, you know, stories, like where she has a boyfriend, has a love interest. They want the sauciness.
They do, because it's a CW.
Which isn't that inherently a terrible thing? It's just, CW are just a parody of themselves.
Pretty terrible on CW, though, at this point.
Yeah, I mean, that Roswell pilot we tried did not go well. So after that, the fourth one, also based... all of these are either a spin-off or based in something or whatever. This final one's one we talked about not too long ago. This is The Lost Boys. They've ordered that pilot to series.
Of course.
Based on the vampire movie. Welcome to sunny seaside Santa Carla, home to the beautiful boardwalk, all the cotton candy you can eat, and a secret underworld of vampires. After the sudden death of their father, two brothers move to Santa Carla with their mother, who hopes to start anew in the town where she grew up. But the brothers find themselves drawn deeper and deeper into the seductive world of Santa Carla's eternally beautiful and useful undead. This is exactly the plot of the movie, this description, so they're definitely starting in the same place. But obviously it's going to have to last much longer, so...
Okay, I'll take your word for it, because you saw it pretty recently, didn't you?
I was forced to watch it for 121 Overload because Matt put up for vote and our patrons are bastards and made me watch it.
It's the only way you're going to get out of the fact that when this starts, we won't have to do an influx.
Yeah, we've already done it.
You were like, nope, there's a video there.
It's already happened. Yeah. If Connor wants to watch it on his own time so that he's up to date for the pilot, that's up to him.
I'm good. I don't have to watch it because I didn't lose a bet, essentially.
Well, Joe, what you get for your cheek, you get two final stories, and they're both CBS. CBS, I'll have to start this. CBS is staying in its procedural wheelhouse.
Oh, I'm shocked.
With a pilot order for medical drama Under the Bridge. And Under the Bridge, I've got Sweet Hot Chili, or Red Hot Chili Peppers playing in my head now.
Oh, that's such a good song.
That was it, I admit, but I don't care.
Yeah.
Covered later by the All Saints. I don't know why I remember that, but I do.
It's very specific knowledge you have in there.
It's because All Saints, there was like the late 90s when all these pop bands were all big. I remember the All Saints having that song. And that's the only song by them I know because it was Under the Bridge. Yeah. Like, I don't know any other songs. Because for a time that was the one that played, usually, on like, the music channels.
I mean, I'll probably know if I heard it.
But... I think it's because that was the period of my life where I had music channels on all the time. So I tended to be more aware of what the hip things were.
Yeah, get you.
Nowadays, I don't have a clue. I probably couldn't name you, like, out of the top charts, what was it, 40, 50, whatever they do these days?
40 is the standard.
I don't think I would be able... I might recognise like 1 out of 40 most weeks.
Yeah, the only way I recognise a handful is on our work playlist, and that hasn't updated in 8 months because it's been broken. So I'm out of date.
There you go. So yeah, Under the Bridge, penned by what's the name here? Rina Mamoun. Mamoun? I don't know. When a scandal rocks the medical practice she runs with her husband and their friends, her husband and their friends. Okay, a surgeon rises to the occasion and takes the lead in trying to mend both the practice and her own marriage.
God damn it! I don't have anything to drink.
Personal and professional lives.
What have I got? Hang on.
He's looking for a bottle of booze that he can just...
Aha! We have whiskey.
He's just...
God damn you, CBS.
Okay. CBS also ordered a pilot called Nancy. Not to be confused with Nancy Drew. Just Nancy. From the Build team of co-creator Paul Atanasio and producer Amblin TV. And Nancy, when a former high-ranking NYPD officer becomes the first female chief of police in Los Angeles, she uses her unflinching honesty and hardball tactics to navigate the social, political, and national security issues that converge with enforcing the law. No personal. Put the bottle cap back on.
I am genuinely shocked.
Oh dear. I obviously don't care about either of those. So
worth it for the comedy factor.
If it wasn't clear, it wasn't worth it. So that is the news this week. That's the news. And we can't pick what our favourite TV episode of the week was because we only had one. But it is worth mentioning Star Trek Discovery Season 2 so far is better than Season 1. So
do you know, it dawned on me in the last couple of days that everyone was always like, oh, you know, Discovery is shit, right? And kind of was not great in Season 1. And I'm going, well, I mean, there's potential. I'm really enjoying Season 2. And then it gives me the shows that people consider, you know, the great Star Trek shows, Next Gen, Deep Space Nine. All the people who really like those tend to agree they don't get good until like their third season.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a different era. I think like there was a time you just had to accept shows were like that and got better.
I agree, but I can live with 1 week season.
Sure.
Even now.
As can I, but I feel that basically when I stopped being interested in most network TV is when this stopped being a thing, really. Because Chuck and Fringe both had this, where the season, I mean, they weren't bad season ones, but they were just kind of like
definitely weaker,
weaker. And then, you know, season 2 is like, oh, it's finding its, you know, their feet, they're getting it. You know, this is becoming something I actually really like now. I'm actually excited about the next episode. I'm not just watching it hoping it'll get better.
These days there is a pressure to be great out of the gate.
Yeah. If anything, more often than not, season 2s tend to be the weaker ones now because they
spend
come
a lot
swinging.
more time on first season.
So, but hey, yeah, there you go. That's the news this week. Then that's episode 2 of 2019's TV news.
Yeah,
you can let us know what you think of any of the news items in the comments below.
We should mention we started watching Kingdom.
We did, yeah. The new Netflix Korean zombie drama. It's a period piece.
Yes,
you can check out our first review of that. It's already up, and there's only 6 episodes in the season, so we'll be doing them over the next week or so, just gradually working through them and putting the reviews up.
Kind of quiet on the TV front at the minute.
It is just now, yeah. We got Umbrella Academy coming next month, and hopefully we'll have some other things announced. What we do have, though, I mean, because I feel it's worth just maybe mentioning some other content for a change. There's the movie news show, 1.21 gigawatts. If you listen to the audio feed of this, it's on the same feed, so you can find it really easily. If you're on YouTube, though, if you like us talking about TV news, you may also like us talking about movie news. So you can go check out that.
Just as much a shambles.
It's just as bad. And we make bets on what the weekend box office is going to be every week.
And we're never right.
And we're never right. We're rarely right. It's actually a cause for great success when we're within like 10 million. Yeah. So that's fun. So go check out that. You can support us on patreon.com/MailFuzzTV if you like what we do and how often and frequent our content is. You can go to Patreon and support us over there for as little as $1 per month, or you can also buy our merch. There's merch now. There'll be links to the stores in the description for the US and the UK, and you can go buy a hoodie or a shirt or something. But that is us. So guys on Twitter at mailed_fuzz. Thank you very much once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys. Have you got any vanilla?